A word from the Rebbe on the last days of Pesach. Even though Pesach is the day that we celebrate Yetzias Mitzrayim, when we were redeemed from Mitzrayim, it is also the preparation for the coming of Mashiach, the Gula Hasidah, the future Gula, that we will go out of this Golas. And as it says in Posik, Kimei Seis Chomeret Mitzrayim Rennen Neflois, that just as we went out of Mitzrayim, the Eibishter will show us wonders in the new Gula. So we see the connection between Gulas Mitzrayim and the Gula Hasidah, the future Gula. It also says in Gemara, Benisim Nigalu, Benisim Hasidim Ligoil. In Nisan, the month of Nisan, we went out of Mitzrayim, we had the Gula from Mitzrayim. This is going to be the time we'll have the Gula from this Golas. And it says even in Svarim, the Gula of Mitzrayim opened up the tzinner, we call it, the pipe, that there should be the Gula Hasidah, which means it gives the Keich the Gula Hasidah. And as we see it, that in the Haggadah, before we drink the second kosam, we make a bracha. What do we say in that bracha? And this is a bracha of the right after the Haggadah, which talks about the Gula of Mitzrayim. Nevertheless, what do we say there? We say that Kein Hashem Elokeinu v'Alkeves and Yageinu l'me'adim l'golam achedim. We're asking Hashem to bring us to the Moryam of Tevim, Haboyim the Kraseinu that come to us, l'sholem smeichim b'binyan nirecha. We will be happy with the building of your city. V'sosim b'avidesecha. Happy in the Aved in the Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi. And v'neichel Shem and Azvochim and Apsochim. We will eat the karbonos. So we see that by the Seder itself, we mention the Gula Hasidah, the Gula that is coming. And in Pesach Gufa, we know more in detail, more beproti is the first days of Pesach are connected to the Gula of Mitzrayim, and the last days of Pesach are connected to the Gula Hasidah, to the Gula of Mashiach. As the Frierdiker Rebbe quoted in the name of Tzemach Tzedek, etc., etc. And it's also merumes in the Kriya of the last days of Pesach. Shvi Shal Pesach, we read the Kriya of the Shira that the Eden said after Kriyas Yamsuf. And in the Shira, we talk about Beremez, the Gula Hasidah, by the coming of Mashiach. In the beginning, it says, Oz Yosher Moshe. Then Moshe will sing. And the Chazal tell us that it says in Loshen of future, Loshen Osid, because it means the time of Mashiach. Also, in the end of the Shira, it says, Mikdash Hashem Kenan Yudecha Hashem Yimon Chleil Voed, which this goes on the coming of Mashiach. And we see it in the Haftarah of the last days of Pesach. The Haftarah of Shvi Shal Pesach is the Shira of David, and the reason is because in Shvi and Achron Shal Pesach is the Gilo of Mashiach, and Mashiach is Ben David, he is a descendant of David. The Haftarah for Achron Shal Pesach is talking the pale but concerning the Gula. In the Haftarah talks about the Gula, and this shows that there is the connection between Pesach and the coming of Mashiach more in the Gula in the last days of Pesach. In the last days of Pesach itself, between the Shvi Shal Pesach and Achron Shal Pesach, the Gula Hasidah is mainly stressed in Achron Shal Pesach. In Achron Shal Pesach, the Haftarah actually talks Begilo. You could see it talks outright about Mashiach, not like Haftarah of Shvi Shal Pesach, which we said is also a remez for the time of Mashiach. But this is Begilui. The Posek says, these are all the things that describe Mashiach. And it says in the Haftarah, what's going to happen when Mashiach will come? A wolf with a sheep will live together. The earth will be full of knowledge of Hashem like the water covers the sea. And it talks also about Kibbutz Goliath, the gathering of the Yidden who are in Golas. It says that if you look into the words, it says, Osav Nitche Yisrael, Hashem will gather all the Yidden, Hechrib Hashem, Heindif Yod Elanor, all these Nyonim that talk about the Gil of Mashiach. And that's in the Haftarah. So we see that Achron Shal Pesach specifically, even more than Shvi Shal Pesach, is connected to the time of Mashiach. And even though the simple reason why we say this Haftarah is because the night of Pesach was the Mapola of Sancherev's downfall, and this Haftarah starts off with the downfall of Sancherev. But if that would be the only reason, so number one, it happened the first night of Pesach, not Achron Shal Pesach. Why do we say Achron Shal Pesach? And the second thing, the Haftarah, the beginning talks about that, but the most of the Haftarah doesn't talk about that. So why do we say it in Achron Shal Pesach? All that shows that Achron Shal Pesach has a real shaykhs itself to Gula Mashiach. So the first days of Pesach are connected to Yetzias Mitzrayim. The last days of Pesach to Mashiach. Generally speaking, the whole Pesach is connected to Mashiach, but mostly we see it in the last days of Pesach, and between the last days of Pesach also, it is more in Achron Shel Pesach that we see it. And that's the reason why the Baal Shem Tov instituted Sudas Mashiach, that on Achron Shel Pesach we should eat an extra meal, which he called the Suda of Mashiach. That's the celebration of the coming of Mashiach, which means that not only we have the Amunah Mashiach and the Betochen, we know for sure Mashiach is going to come, but we actually put it into a Suda, which means we make it in something Gashmi, something tangible, and we really celebrate already the coming of Mashiach because we're so sure it's going to come. But when do we do it? On Achron Shel Pesach, because Achron Shel Pesach is the day of the Gilo of Mashiach, and that's the day that we strengthen our Amunah Mashiach, and we are sure that Mashiach is coming very, very soon.